again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
God, it's a beautiful Friday morning, and it's the 17th day in the month of May, the year 2024. It's lovely. Jamaat Mubarak to our Muslim faithful, Muslim brother, Muslim sister, everyone out there. It's a prayer day, and so let's do well to pray and remember that we have a country in which we live in and make things work for the good of the entire universe. And so thank you for tuning to this very dial. I'm talking about Unity 93.3 FM Unity TV this lovely morning, and the program is Unity Trend coming your way again, and this is the last edition for this week. And so look forward to having an interesting time with you even on this very dial. Iji Adamu is my name, and we have 3 segments to this program. The first review, the second transit, and the last interactive. We start from now and we never stop until it is 9:30 a.m. All right, and this is not without you, so I look forward to hearing from you even via a text message or even on our Facebook page, which of course is at Unity Radio FM/TV. Just drop your comments when the time comes. I'll get to read your comments there. In the studio this morning, I have Barrister Paul Saruma, someone who, of course, see no reasons to be biased in terms of political analysis. And so he's in the studio and he's coming your way with a very big good morning. Barrister, over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, viewers and listeners, depending on where you are catching us from. This is another Friday. I wish the Muslim Ummah Jumaat Mubarak.
Yes. All right, Jumaat Mubarak again and again. And so if you are going through any sort of health challenge, remember that God has been faithful all the way through. And in fact, you didn't make it possible that you become human being or even what you are today. It has been God all through. And so because it has been God, God never changes. He remains God forever. No one was there to help him be God because he is God. And I pray he remember you today for healings, okay? Just believe it and do what you ought to do, humanly possible, so that you receive it in full. Thank you so much. All right, this morning, let's just begin by encouraging people to tilt towards, compliance to the executive order as we have it in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. There is a need for you to stay away from some certain positions even as you do your business or trading. Please do just that. And if you have anything other than what the government think of you, you can tilt towards also legal provisions, and let's address it. After all, it is for our good that all of these things are there. So please, we encourage on this platform that please, again and again, let's comply. Let's comply. It is for our good. And in the shortest possible future, we'll be happy we comply. Thank you so much. And again, I celebrate the great nation of Birom today being the Zambirom, and it's happening even right now somewhere around at the Rampang Township Stadium. And there's a great people, great culture. It's a moment of unity, and so that it's Zambirom. It does not exclude anyone, and so we all belongs to Plateau, and so Zambirom is taking the lead on this very program. Let's be all out to support this great celebration even as it's coming today. So let's do the needful. I celebrate the Birom people and I celebrate Plateau. I celebrate therefore Nigeria by extension. So, Barrister.
Yes, today is a day of celebration of culture, cultural value, rich cultural display, and celebration of history. We celebrate with the Birom people and the Traditional Council, and the Birom Development and Cultural Organization, as well as the Birom Youth Molders. We celebrate with all the other tribes within Jos, because the celebration is not for the Biroms alone. It is a collective celebration in fulfillment of the scriptural injunction that says when one is celebrating, let's celebrate with the person. And when the one is mourning, let's mourn with the person. So this is the time of celebration, not the time of mourning. We celebrate the sons and daughters of Biron land. We celebrate the sons and daughters of Plateau State. We congratulate the entire Biron nation as they celebrate their rich cultural heritage. You know, Plateau State is well blessed with rich cultural heritage. And then, coincidentally, the celebration is close to the museum day, which is also around the corner. So I believe it's not a coincidence, it's a divine arrangement. So we celebrate the entire Plateau State in this wonderful day, and we congratulate particularly the boss, who is the chief custodian of the Birom culture, and the Traditional Council. This is a great day, and we wish them a peaceful, a beautiful, and an eventful celebration.
All right, it has been announced that new registrations transferring of voters, cards, and lost of cards will begin on the 27th of May, the year 2024. And it promises already to be something that you would want to be a part of it. And to 5th June this same year, please. We ask that everyone who needs to do what he or she ought to do to have one for himself, let's just do the needful. And this is by INEC, right? So thank you. And again, on our headlines, these are some of the things, God's willing, if time permits, we'll be looking at. Concerned as Boko Haram's terrorists caught using Elon's most super fast internet connections device, Starlink, in Sambisa forest. Do you have another one here? Says the tables student loan application portal opens May this very year. And another one say Kano mosque explosions, death toll rises to 11. 36 states assembly speakers back state police. Just when we received the position of the officer in charge of the police, you know, saying that he feels that Nigeria is not ripe, not that he is kicking against it, but that is not the time for state police. And now state speakers are saying they support it, and that means they are in the same page, on the same page with the police inspector, general of police, IGP, so to say, sorry, thing. And then terrorists caught using Elon. Okay, that one was already there for you. Okay, and another one says, okay, Kano Mosque. I think we'll just start with Kano Mosque because this one has to do with we would have to send our own condolences, okay, to the Kano people. So it would be very good if we start on this very note. But before we begin, I would love to let my listener and viewer this morning to know that Professor Paveno H. Bamayi is seated to my left this morning. And of course, as usual, he's coming your way with a very big good morning. Jumat Mubarak.
Well, a big good morning to you, Kulbi, and Barrister Zaruma.
Good morning.
Viewers and listeners, a big good morning to you. If you're in other parts of the world, good afternoon, good evening. Jumat Mubarak to all Muslim faithfuls across Nigeria and around the globe. It's a beautiful day, wonderful day. We are glad to be counted among the living. And I hope that you're pursuing your goals for 2024 and that you've achieved a significant percentage of the goals and objectives and visions you have for 2024. Always remember that they have to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And remember, you don't give up no matter the obstacles and challenges that you're facing. Just keep pressing on, soldiering on, and then you will get to your targets as long as you don't give up. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Winners don't quit, quitters don't win. And remember that while you're doing all these things, you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. I'm talking about the world today could be. There are two very prominent celebrations around the world. We're here on the plateau, we're celebrating the Biron Cultural Day, which started with a series of activities actually. Since 25th April, there's been one activity or the other. The world is celebrating very two prominent days, and that is one is the International Day of Telecommunications. And then the other one is the World Hypertension Day. The International Day of Telecommunications started a long time ago with the inauguration of the International Telecommunication Union in 1865. So that's more than 100 years ago. Today the world remembers the contributions of telecommunications, especially digital technology, to the development of our world. And while we are remembering the interconnectivity that telecommunication has brought our way across nations, across continents, across cultures, religions, professions, and all spheres of human endeavor, we also must remember that we have about 2.6 billion people on earth that don't have any internet connectivity. And so they're left behind as far as this telecommunication development is concerned. They don't use Android phones, they don't have access to mobile phones, and they're left behind in the dark. So as we remember this International Telecommunication Day and the International Information Society Day 2024, let's do something about this. Even in our rural areas where communication is very poor, the government needs to do something about it. And then, of course, the World Hypertension Day. A UK agency estimated 28 million Nigerians to be living with hypertension. So 1 out of every 3 Nigerians may be hypertensive, and they don't even know it. Hypertension is the silent killer that we have in our country and around the world. Many people are hypertensive, they don't know it. There was one big gathering, and then they decided to take blood pressure of some of the dignitaries that came, and most of them were hypertensive, and they don't even know. When was the last time you measured your blood pressure? Many people don't do it. And that's the way you can really know that you have high blood pressure. Just walking down the streets, moving up and down, you won't know whether you are hypertensive until maybe it is too late, or the damage has gone very far and little can be done. So it is good to do a high blood pressure check once a week. You know, you can even have your digital device like I have at home to measure your blood pressure, you know, every once in a while. Again, with the so many maybe problems and challenges we have in Nigeria, Nigerians maybe have the right, if I use the word, to be hypertensive, you know, or are more prone to be hypertensive because of too many problems and too many challenges. So if your blood pressure is more than 120 over 80 millimeter mercury, you should be concerned. You should be concerned. And if it is greater than 140 over 90 millimeter mercury, definitely you must be concerned. You must be hypertensive. Something needs to be done so that it can be managed, and so you can prolong your lifespan here on earth. So please, as the world marks this World Hypertension Day in Nigeria, let's reflect, let's re-strategize, let's think more about health. A lot of us consume a lot of salt, which is not healthy. Too much salt is not good for your health. In fact, a whole family should not consume more than 2 grams of salt in a day. That's a teaspoonful of salt is what you should use for the whole day, for the whole family, for all the cookings you do from morning till night. Not more than 1 teaspoonful of salt. Anything beyond that is much, and it's not good for your health. In fact, if you can avoid salt completely, the better. Like in my house, we take very little salt. So any time we eat outside, we just feel, oh, the food is so salty, because our mouths are used to, very little or no salt. And sometimes some people don't take salt, and they forget that Maggi cubes has a lot of salt inside. They'll be pumping Maggi, thinking that because they are not using salt, but it has a lot of salt inside. So why don't you spice up your food with other things that are not so expensive, and the food will be delicious, like our famous dawa dawa. You can put some ginger, put some crayfish, and all those things. The food will taste nutritious and will have less salt instead of pumping a lot of salt that can lead to high blood pressure.
Now, talking about our own famous dawa dawa, that reminds me of the famous dawa dawa on this platform that Barrister Zaruma will always talk about somewhere along that view. Well, I think that is not bad. It's not bad, but we will just find a way of making sure we help these mothers to make sure that yes, hygiene and all of that, and just because flies will always be there. It's dawa dawa and so, but how do we help them so that there will be some checks and some tax force to help this, local, do I call them local traders now of that makers of dawa dawa? Well,
so interesting. Yes. And Kubi, before I forget, yesterday we had 2 great celebrations, so if I will call it, or events on the plateau. One was El Press at CSDA, just near Crispan, where we had the World Bank sponsored livestock productivity resilience and livestock productivity and resilience support project. It's a multi-million-dollar project, and Plateau State is one of the states benefiting from this World Bank project. They'll be focusing on the poultry value chain, the pig value chain, and sheep and goats. They'll be sponsoring a lot of research related to productivity in terms of boosting the production of livestock on the plateau. They're investing a lot of money in laboratory services, veterinary services, and supporting farmers, across the plateau. A good number of farmers were there yesterday, and it's a $1 million project. And the good thing is that the money is already on ground here on the plateau. We are told yesterday by the coordinator. In fact, the coordinator kept saying, the money needed for this one, we already have it already. The money needed for this one, we already have it. It's a 6-year project of the World Bank. And in fact, the project coordinator was telling us yesterday that the World Bank even raised a red flag and said by day before yesterday, you were supposed to have bought some Hilux Hilux vans. We gave you money for Hilux vans. Why have you not purchased them? Red flag. So the money is on ground, and farmers and those in the livestock sector can key into this and benefit from it. Then the other event, which is a sad one, was remembering the 8 people that died on the 16th of May 2007 on Governor Joshua Darie's convoy at Shandam. 6 of those 8 were journalists, and they were remembered by an event yesterday where our colleague Professor Taye Obateru spoke at that event organized by the NUJ Council. So 6 journalists lost their lives in 2007, 16th May, that's about 17 years now, on that convoy. I think this is the biggest tragedy that has befallen journalists on the plateau, losing 6 journalists in one day. And then a woman and a driver died in that accident at Shandam during the time of the then Governor Joshua Darie. So our hearts also go out to the families who are bereaved for 17 years now. The government made certain promises 17 years ago. I don't know whether they are fulfilled. Those promises of at least 500,000 naira, the governor promised to each of those families. As of some years back, the money had not been given. We hope that now they have received the money promised them. In fact, it should have been increased because inflation must have taken over those amounts over the years.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to say a very big good morning to Chief Henry Aboki, an elder statesman, okay, at Rukubaro, the Satellite Market to be precise. This is someone who will not pick calls until after he's done listening to Barrister Paul Zaruma and Professor in the studio every morning. So I know you're listening, and so thank you for encouraging us, and thank you for tuning in. Every other person who tunes to listen to this very program. Okay, very briefly, maybe one minute or thereabout, let's see what we have concerning the Kano Mosque explosions. Death toll now rises to 11 people. I give this to Barrister very, very quickly, and then we just go to other issues and try to see what we'll do here.
It is very unfortunate. We have earlier condoled the people of Kano State with respect to this unfortunate development. We initially the general view that was coming in was that it was a terror attack, but after some preliminary finding by the security agencies, it was further revealed that it wasn't actually a terrorist attack, that it was a dispute that emanating from sharing of estate of their deceased father, and that the young man was not very happy about his own share of the portion. And some of the people that were at the mosque on that day were involved in the sharing formula. So he got aggrieved, timed and targeted them, and then came with an improvised explosive, and then added fuel. Make sure that when they were inside, he locked the mosque from outside, added poured fuel on the mosque before he now threw the explosive through the window, and it exploded, killing so many people. So many people were injured immediately. But thereafter, reports from the hospitals is filling in that some of them lost their lives. If not for those who came to the mosque very late that day, it would have been more devastated, because for those who came late, they had to force the door open. When he saw some of them coming in, he fled the scene, and they used the opportunity to force the door open and be able to rescue those that they will rescue. And with time, you can see that we lost some of them, unfortunately. Now, this young man also have the antecedent of exhibiting some of these criminal tendencies. Recently he burnt his elder brother's car, and then he has exhibited a lot of criminal tendencies even before this incident. So, and then at a point in time, even when their father was alive, there was a time the father took him to psychiatric hospital. So he also have some psychiatric issue, but he is a dangerous psychiatric patient. I think the necessary steps should be taken. One thing that people should know is that the defense of insanity in law is not always an absolute defense. It's not because you say I am insane, then you will be discharged and acquitted. No. So it is not an absolute defense. So the relevant authority should take to this young man where he should be, not that they will allow him under the guise of insanity and he will continue to cause havoc. Because they said he is also doing some businesses, and then also for an insane person to get an improvised explosive, you will know that he is a dangerous person. He should be treated accordingly, according to law. And then the security agency should also do further investigation if they will reveal other culprits that are involved, because it's very difficult. How did he get the improvised explosive? Where did he get the explosive from?
These are issues,
these are issues that the security should further investigate. This matter should not just be dismissed on the ground of insanity. This matter, they should go in depth and do further investigation and then trace where he was able to get that explosive from.
All right, yes, I know you must have to have some sort of a license and for you to be able to transport, explosives in this country. And that has been a very big deal for those who are into engineering, road constructions and explosives and all that. I know that. But 36 State Assembly speakers back state police. Very, very brief too. Prof, over to you.
Well, 36 state speakers are actually opposing what the IGP wanted. The IGP said we are not ripe for state police. But these 36 speakers of the various houses of assembly across Nigeria, when they gathered, are saying we are ready. We should have state police. Why not? Because if you are saying state governors will abuse state police, the federal police, is it not being abused by the president? No. So if the president can abuse the use of the national police, then the governors also should do the same. What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
So we have it at federal and we have it at the states.
Absolutely, like they have in the US, and other countries.
Well, it's not time to preempt it. If it's a good thing to do, let's try it.
It is, to my mind, it will be fantastic to have state police because what we have currently, the federal police are not under the directive of the state governor. Even though the state governor is the chief security officer of the state, he doesn't command the state police. He doesn't even command anything, except if they form their own vigilante and such group. So there are actually two options. It's either we amend the 1999 Constitution to allow governors to control the federal police in their states, or we allow the states to have state police that can respond promptly at the directive of the governor to security threats within the state. And that's why you see even the governor of Plateau State and various other governors have been clamoring for state police. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, while contesting for presidency of the country, supported the state police, and various other presidential aspirants and people across the country feel that there is long overdue. I have an emergency in my state, and then I have to go to Abuja or call Abuja, and then it is Abuja, the president, that can direct the commissioner of police, to do anything in my own state, and people will be dying, and so many things will be going wrong. I was at an occasion here in Plateau State, and the representative of the governor, the former governor of Plateau State, Barrister Lalong, his representative, the deputy governor, Sonny Tioden, was weeping. He wept. I was at that occasion. The elderly man was shedding tears because of insecurity. He was helpless as he was talking to the crowd. In fact, he could not finish his speech. He left. I was there live and direct, not that I was told. And why is it like that? Because the governor does not have power over the police in his state. He does not have power over the army in his state. He doesn't have power over even any of the security forces in his own state. So if we have state police, the governor can issue directives to whoever is in charge of that state police in his own state to act promptly if there is an incident at Faringada, for example, and we need urgent emergency attention. He can do that quickly, boycotting all the bureaucracies of going to Abuja. We're here in Jos, you have to go to Abuja and then come back again to Jos, for the commissioner of police to do anything. Because the police commissioner is not under the state governor, and he doesn't have to obey him. If he gets contrary directives from Abuja, that's what he will obey. In fact, if Abuja said don't even do anything, just sit down and watch what is happening, as it happens in many cases, you will see so many things happening, and there is no directive to intervene, and the police will not do anything. So I think I want to support the view of these speakers of all the 36 states House of Assemblies backing the formation of state police.
Prof, I'll have to come in here because it's time for a break. But when we come back, I think we'll continue on this note because it's an issue for us to really dig deep into it.
Yes,
Our viewer and listener, Barrister 2 will have something to say here. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your
Unity. Unity TV.
Mr. Politician? It's good to see.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us on this very dial, Unity 93.3 FM, Unity TV from the hills of ZINARIYA. Just Plateau State, Nigeria, the home of peace and tourism. The voice of reason is what you're listening to right now. Ajia Demo remains my name, your regular anchor on this wonderful program. We are streaming live on Facebook, and you can now go to our Facebook page and be a part of it. Throw your comments. I trust that God's willing, at the appropriate time, I'll get to read your comments on Facebook at Unity Radio FM/TV Jos. Okay, and in the studio it has been Professor Pavana H. Bamayi to my left, and to my right it has been Barrister Paul Zaruma. We were just talking about state police. Yes, is it a good time? Should it even be a thing to talk about or even consider? And that's what we would come back to continue in depth. And I'll just throw it back to a prof. Maybe he would just tell us if it's a good thing to do, because I still wonder if the state will, be faithful in her dealings with, to make sure that the purpose for the state police is making good use of.
Yeah. When people doubt the capability of the governors to faithfully handle the state police, they should also at the same time be doubting the capability of the president to handle the federal police. Because if the president, who also was a former governor, each of these governors can become president also. If we feel that just because they are governors, they cannot properly coordinate, handle, or be faithful with the state police in their states, then how can we trust the president also that he will handle the federal police correctly? So, for my mind, I think we are unnecessarily worried. Because why do we say that the governors are the chief security officers of the state? Why do we entrust them with all the money? We should say the president should keep the money meant for the states. He shouldn't give the governors. They cannot be trusted. Because the highest trust, in this country is to trust somebody with money. You can trust people with any other thing but not money. Because money, not too many human beings are faithful when it comes to money. But this just yesterday could be. The Federal Allocation Committee sat at FAC, and they have disbursed more than 1 trillion naira has been shared across the 36 states to various state governors. More than 1 trillion naira has been given. And these governors have collected billions. Some have collected 50 billion, maybe 100 billion or 20 billion or whatever. And we trust them with that money. It is state police that we can't trust them with.
Right.
So, if the state governors are chief executives of their states and control their states and should be held accountable for security in their states, indeed, during the time of His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo as president, he even imposed a state of emergency here on the plateau. And Chief Joshua Darie was relieved as governor, and we had a military governor here in this state. Because it was felt that the governor failed as far as security was concerned. Now, shouldn't we allow these governors to have state police that they can use to respond promptly to communal clashes, communal fights, violence all over their states, instead of waiting for the president from Abuja to begin to give orders that will come when it is usually too late? We've hardly had a situation where there was any prompt response. It is always when it is too late, lives have been lost, then the orders are carried out and maybe some little semblance of security and peace is restored. So, as far as I'm concerned, if the governors can sponsor, can fund the state police, because that is probably my fear, can they fund the state police?
Okay.
Because some of these state governors are finding it difficult to pay salaries. They are finding it difficult to pay pension and gratuity and other things. Will they be able to fund the state police properly? I think that's probably my only fear. If they can do it, I think it is a fantastic thing. It will be one of the best things that will happen to the country. Already the National Assembly is battling to amend the Constitution, and they can put the clause and make provision for state police, and other things. And then if we are copying a particular democracy, let's copy it correctly and copy everything. Let's not cherry pick. We said we are patterning our democracy after the United States of America. They have federal police, they have state police. Why is it that we chose only one and we left the other? Why is it that there are many other things they do in the United States we are not doing in our country?
Maybe
because we do copy and paste, and everything scatters, and because we just copy and paste wrongly. So if we want to say we are really democratic and we want a true presidential system, let's do the presidential system the way the people we are trying to imitate are doing it, and let's do it properly, and then we'll be able to have a more egalitarian society. We'll be able to have a more organized country called Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. Barrister, now still on state police, and I'm sure you might take us on a ride of legal angle that they possibly
yes, I think, was it yesterday or so, the House of Assembly of different state speakers gathered, and then they had a meeting, and they unanimously agreed and supported the ongoing bill for the amendment of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
yes,
to make provision for the creation of state police. Now, before their meeting, the communique was read by their chairman, Right Honorable Debo Ogundoyin, and that was after the meeting. And if you want to look at how things are going in this country, it is not only the House of Assemblies that came together. The Governors Forum also earlier came and then endorsed the bill for the establishment of state police. So it is a good development. As long as we are concerned, it is ripe. The IG on its own felt like Nigeria is not ripe. But the million-dollar question is, when will Nigeria be right for state police? I think there is no better time than now. You remember the
Barrister, did you say
famous
million-dollar question?
Yes, the million-dollar question is
Maybe million naira question.
Okay, so since we are avoiding the dollarization of Nigerian economy,
so million naira question.
So the million naira question is, when will it be ripe?
Yes.
I think the better time. There is no better time than now. Now, why did I say that this is the better time for that? Right. Now, we are having a proliferation of security outfit. We're having Omoteku, we're having IPOP, we're having VGN, Neighborhood Watch. Recently, there was this Miyetti Allah set up a security outfit in Nasarawa State, which led the governor of Nasarawa State to abolish every ethnocentric security outfit, because we even discussed it extensively in this place, that if such ethnocentric security activities are not checked, they will metamorphose into becoming militia groups. And if they become militia groups, only God knows what will happen to this country. So, and you can see a lot of these agencies we just mentioned, these non-state actors we just mentioned are coming up because there is a gap. There is a lacuna. Apart from the lacuna, there is a vacuum. So it is that vacuum that is triggering this proliferation of all these non-state actors. And if we do not allow for state police, then by the time these non-state actors get emboldened, we mentioned, now they have started handling firearms. And this handling of firearms are not well coordinated. They are not properly trained. They don't have an armory. They don't have barracks. They only hold it randomly. And then the society is condoning it because we have been hypocritically fighting against the establishment of state police. But interestingly, the same governors forum that came up and stood against establishment of state police during Goodluck Jonathan's regime, they came this time around and said, no, we are supporting. Because every state now, there is hardly no state in Nigeria that is not on fire. And we all know that the federal police is limited in terms of human resources. So if you come back, the popular professor Benoit Beze criticized our Nigerian's federal concept. And he said that Nigeria is not a true federalism. And one of the issues, time will not allow us to discuss that criticism extensively, but one of the issues he emphasized is the issue of state police. If we are truly a federal state, you cannot say you have a police at the center and you don't have a police at the region or at the state level. So the components also are supposed to have police, except if we are not ready to practice federal system. Unfortunately, our constitution, the 1999 constitution as amended, is a creation of the military government. And the military government want to have control of the government at the center. That is why they didn't tolerate for a state police. And then they were manipulating the police, doing so many things they can do with the police. That is why we are having a police that is not only coming from a pre-colonial perspective. You know, even the colonial masters were using the police to suppress Nigerians. And up to now, our police have not fully been liberated from that colonial subservience. So after they have, the police have suffered that damage of colonial subservience, Nigeria now found itself with series of military administration. And then the police are now a kind of a militarized kind of police. That's why you can see some level of brutality. For instance, they will tell you, bail is free, you will go, you will still pay. There are so many terrible things and indignifying things that are still going on because of Nigerian police is not completely disconnected from that pre-colonial mentality. And then now as we are, after then the mentality of the police was further battered. as a result of the series of military regimes that we're having. So we need to have a very civilized police, a very organized police, a police that the citizen can be comfortable with, a police that is going with the modern trend. Now, for instance, for those who are not in fear of having a state police, we have a federal fire service. We also have fire service at the state. What happened? If there is an emergency issue in Plateau State, will you be waiting for federal fire service to come from Abuja? Or you will be waiting for a federal fire service to come from Plateau State Secretariat? In any case, how many manpowers do they have? We also have the federal road safety, for instance. And the various states have their VIO. In Lagos, they have their own VIO. In Kaduna, they have their own VIO. In Plateau State, we have our own. In Kaduna, they call them Katstella. You know, in Lagos, they call this popular name. They call them in Lagos. In Plateau State, we still maintain the name VIO. So what has happened? Nothing has happened. They are helping in facilitating the generation of revenue, even for the state. That is why if you go to the VIO office, you will see that they are working hand in hand with the State Revenue Generation Board and as well as the road safety. So if we can have VIO and nothing happened, the roof of this country did not fall. We can have a federal road service, the roof of this country did not fall. What is wrong in having a state police? We have Federal Ministry of Environment, for instance. We have State Ministry of Environment. We have, now, for instance, the outfit known as Operation Rainbow. It has a lot of constitutional bottlenecks because they are not a state police. They cannot prosecute. Operation Rainbow cannot prosecute. There are certain level of investigation that Operation Rainbow cannot do. And in any case, the agencies that are dominating Operation Rainbow are still the replication of the federal police. Because you will see immigration there, you will see police there, you will see custom there in the Operation Rainbow. So the state is still not in full control of Operation Rainbow. So at times some people will be saying, Operation Rainbow. The state is not in control of Operation Rainbow fully. Because the people that control Operation Rainbow is the army, the police, the federal army, the federal police, the federal immigration. So what are we doing? It's still like going back one step forward, 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. Okay. But by the time each state in Nigeria are able to have a state police that can be able to investigate, prosecute, and recruit, just like the federal police, Americans have the same system. And it may interest you to know that apart from the federal and state police the Americans have, they also have other agencies that operate like local government police. Okay. Yes. And then apart from that, the American system also have private investigating agencies that they can go and do investigation just like the police. They are registered and approved. Private security. In Nigeria, the private sector we have is only those security agencies that will come and be sitting at your door and then put one logo or banner there and said so security on guard, keep off. That is where it ends. Their operation is limited. But in places like United States where we borrowed and imported their kind of federalism, we brought them it to Nigeria, but we willfully, for selfish reason and vested interest, refuse to domesticate it into our country. And you can see that crime is increasing by the day. And it may also interest you, Kulbi. We just spoke about the need to enlarge the Jos prison. And the federal government have decided to enlarge the Jos prison. In fact, they will build a capacity of 3,000 people. So it is a very good development because there are some people that are not fit to be in the society, I'm telling you. Recently, is it around Bochiro or so? Somebody I hope you listened to Barrister this morning, yes. Some people are not fit to be in the society. But wow. Just recently, is it around Bochiro, so one young mechanic was just returning from his office tired. Some so-called Sarasuka boys just battered him. If you see how the deep cuts on his body, I don't think he will survive. And they macheted all over his face. This man, even if he survives, he will be left with permanent physical scar. In fact, the picture is gory. He will be left with permanent physical scar as well as permanent emotional scar. So you can see that the hands of the police have limited manpower. The last time that there was criticism about our security method, they say that at least for an ideal policing, at least a community of 10 people should have at least 3 police. Do we have such in Nigeria? We don't. We are far away from that.
Right.
So I think we support wholeheartedly the Governors Forum, and as well as the Speakers Forum, and then so far the bill has gone down to different states, houses of assembly. We pray that our State House of Assembly in Plateau State, when the bill arrives to Plateau State, they will also endorse it, and will encourage the critical stakeholders that are involved in this bill should make sure that this thing is facilitated expeditiously and treated as a matter of urgent national importance.
All right, Barrister. Another big issue here is that of Operation Hidden who killed a top commander of Boko Haram sect, Tahir Baga, and recovered digital connectives, Starlink's Wi-Fi system. And I throw this to Prof because, Prof, what have you here to talk about?
Well,
it means they're listening to us. If
that's what I warned you the other time, that the terrorists are listening.
It's very possible.
They have devices. They listen to news on radio, on TV. They even have satellite TV. In fact, I'm trying to remember somebody who was telling us, I think it's an investigative journalist or one of these journalists, when he met with the terrorists one time, they told him that we heard what he said. And luckily for him, what he said was correct. And they want him to even go and say more. So they're listening. They're listening to the news about themselves. When they attack a particular place, they want the whole world to know. So when it is being broadcast, they listen to the news also. Yes. And they're happy. Those who were close to Osama bin Laden said at that time when they carried out the attack on the Twin Towers, Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York, and as soon as the Twin Towers came crumbling down, that Osama bin Laden, prostrated in celebration. He was very happy with the great feat that has been accomplished by those 19 terrorists that carried out those attacks in the U.S. So they watch news, they listen to news. At least now we're having evidence because the military operation has recovered some of the devices that these guys use. And they're connected. They have internet connectivity. They have connection to satellite, and all that. And this is the reason why it has been very difficult sometimes to track them down.
Yes, because they monitor.
They know what is happening. Yes.
Earlier on, you said something about the telecommunications and our villages. We don't have network, and there are some certain places you go, you don't get to be able to communicate. But these terrorists will go to a far distance, and yet able to have what it takes for them to communicate.
Because they know the importance of communication. So they invest in satellite connectivity. Remember in those days when GSMs were not operational in the country, we've not had them. We have to use Turaya and other devices to make phone calls. Those ones are connected to satellite and you pay in dollars, and all that. Now, these are the kind of devices that these terrorists are using in Sambisa forests, Shiroro forests, the forests in Zamfara and other places where they know that there is no internet connectivity. The GSM networks are not working. They will use those devices. They can connect their Android phones or iPhones. They can connect their television. They can connect their phones for internet. They can even make calls, internet calls. They can make all manner of calls, and they can communicate. And they can communicate in such a way that the security forces might not even be able to detect that they are connecting, because they also have experts among them. They have professionals among them. When they kidnap, They kidnap doctors, they kidnap nurses, they kidnap engineers, computer engineers, telecom engineers, they kidnap all manner of people. That's why they have bomb-making experts among them. They keep all these people, they don't release them, they don't allow them to go, because the people are useful to them. When they kidnapped one of our colleagues, I think 2 years ago, he was kept in captivity for almost 1 year because he's a medical doctor. They left him there so that he can be helping them. Prof. And it took time before they allowed him to finally leave that place.
Prof, in Jos here, well, somewhere in Kaduna, but people, our own people from Plateau, they were, being stopped by kidnappers then. And they asked them, who are you? The first man, he's actually the boss in that vehicle at that particular point in time. He said, I'm a boy to this man. Oh. And unfortunately, the boy in that car said he's a politician. They say, okay, you calm down. That was how he was being dealt with. Why I'm bringing this is because you say they kidnap professionals also. So don't be too in a hurry to say what you can do, because you might be just the person kidnappers are, looking out for to help aid their operations.
Yes, we want to salute the military operation for killing that Tahir of terrorists, and they have declared. Is it a Buzum or whatever his name, wanted? He comes from Niger Republic, but he has set up bases around the country, especially in the northwest, attacking and killing. He has been declared wanted internationally, so that they can track him down. I think the military are waking up more and more. We've been advocating here that they should be proactive, go after these terrorists, smoke them out of their holes, chase them to the ends of the earth. Probably that's why Major General Edward Buba is announcing now that they are looking for the other terrorists now, and they will search for him wherever he is in the world. They are appealing to other countries that wherever anybody has seen him, he should be arrested, because he's wanted for a lot of terrorist activities and for the death of many people across this country, especially in the northwest. So kudos to our military for this initiative and for being proactive, and we hope that they can even do more as the days go by to secure the territorial integrity of this country, and other forces can also join to ensure that we have some semblance of security within our country, Nigeria.
Okay, in 2 minutes, Barrister, on this.
Yes, I think we congratulate our security agency, the Joint Task Force, for that wonderful feat. Frankly, of recent, indicators arrive that the military are on the offensive in many places, and then they are not announcing it that they used to do. Yes, the combined security agency are on the offensive recently, and we must commend them. We must commend the sacrifices they are making. Some of them are leaving the comforts of their families. Some of them are sacrificing their lives. When we had this visitor from US that came to see some of the wounded soldiers, when I saw the video, I became emotional, because I saw them. They are really in a pathetic situation. Apart from those who lost their lives, we are posthumously celebrating them. Back to this issue of this arrest. Let the military, we encourage them, the security agencies, to keep on pursuing this man until he is arrested, wherever he goes. Let them keep on pursuing. This is the kind of things we want. You don't stay and wait for them to attack. Let our security agencies be on the offensive, not on the defensive, or to go and form jumbo camps or micro camps or whatever they call them, and wait for the security, the insurgents to be attacking them. I think we have spoken, so they are doing well now. They are well commended. I see a lot of videos how the military, with some terrible terrain, both the military, police are also in that operation. So they are doing, the DSS are also, and other security agencies are also involved in that operation. So we encourage them to be on the offensive. They should not be waiting for them to go and regroup, to go and re-strategize. They should be pursuing the enemies of Nigeria and make sure they do not regroup and re-strategize. time is far against us. I wanted to mention the son of Muhammad Nur that just surrendered to the forces, but I think time is not. It is also as a result of the pressure by the military that the son of Muhammad Nur, popularly known as Muhammad Al-Barnawi, Muhammad Haman Al-Barnawi, who surrendered to the military forces as a result of pressure. In fact, he surrendered himself to Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Headquarters. They have started profiling him, and preliminary findings reveal that truly he's the first son of Al-Barnawi. Okay. And we know Muhammad Nur is the person that balkanized Boko Haram into Boko Haram and ISWAP. Okay. So, okay, time is...
All right, thank you, Barrister. I need to come in here. It's 9 o'clock and it's time for a short break. A listener viewer, again, when we come back, it's going to be all of your time. Please stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
Also on this station, Unity 93.3 FM, Unity TV, it has been Unity Trend on your radio this morning and TV, and in the studio, Professor Paveno H. Balmayi and Barrister Paul Zaruma. This is the last segment of Unity Trend this morning, and it's your 30 minutes program. What is left now is 30 minutes, and it's all of your time to be part of the conversation this morning. It's Friday, by the way, the 17th day in the month of May. Oh, the year is fast coming to an end already. And of course, I believe you have been so deliberate in terms of checking and making sure that you're doing something in terms of your goals. Yes, and that is the question we always ask you on this platform every morning. All right, 07032353315 is the studio line, and I'll be very happy if you choose to be a part of it. And on Facebook at Unity Radio FM/TV. Just call and tell me your name and locations. And 1 minute, let's have your submission. You don't necessarily have to agree with everything my guests in the studio, take as their position. By the way, that is their opinions, and you may have yours very different. But of course, there will be sense in everything everyone chooses to take as his or her position. So this is a platform for you to be a part of it. But stay away from comments and statements that will not help in our efforts to improve sustainable peace in Plateau, Nigeria, and Africa and the world over. That's what we really believe here. And comments made on this platform are not in any way the position of Unity 93.3 FM. So let's just begin to pick your call. Hello, good morning. All right, we lost that. 07032353315 is the studio line. 07032353315. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
My greeting with the professor is doing wonderful job. Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome.
My advice is about the state police.
Okay, go on in a minute,
The
please.
state police is very nice, but what we are fearing, the politicians and the governors, they can use this way to start attacking people or their sex. That's what we are fearing.
Okay, by the way, your name and
If they are
location.
going to arrange it well, so that is welcome development.
Okay, your name and location again, please.
Yes, my name is Sakiyaki APC Plateau State. Thank you.
All right, Sakiyaki, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Kovi.
Thank you. All right, Sakiyaki. Yes, Sakiyaki. He has been our first caller this morning. Okay, 07032353315. I'll be very happy to hear your own position. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Your name?
My name is Obi from Ukubaro.
Obi from Rukubaro. That road that doesn't have shoulders. Let's have you in 1 minute.
My entry is from the state police.
Okay, go on.
I want to commend the state police.
All right.
It's going to be very helpful to the various states in the country.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Just as we say, maybe you have a situation in your state, you can't wait for your order from the IG, from the IG to the CT. Before you know, the damage has been made. So I just want the House of the Assembly and the Senate so that we help and pass the so that the thing we commend.
All right.
It's going to help a lot in security reasons.
Okay. Thank you.
And again, if it is federal government, because the fund is not going to be easy to the state government. I don't know if the federal government can be assisting so that the fund can be paid. Because somebody is working at least you have a salary when the month ended, so that the thing will be moving. Because if somebody has a security issue, you know what it means. At least it's not supposed to be here in your month so that you have that zeal to do work very well.
Thank you.
And happy.
Thank you so much, calling from Rukubaro.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
So the state police will create employment, more employment.
Yes.
And some of those states, will even be paying more than the federal police. States like Lagos
That will be a
and
challenge.
Rivers, the police there will be earning maybe twice or three times what the ones in Abuja are earning.
All right.
So it's good.
All right. In between calls, we'll be reading comments from Facebook or text messages. So you will pardon me to do that. Hello, good morning. Thank you. Your name? Okay, Benedict. The environment sound is not giving us good work.
Are you good now?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes, it's better. Go on.
Okay, please, pardon me to raise a little on this issue that it is developing and becoming more clearer by the and that is the issue of the market demolition.
Okay, demolition.
It is actually very, very simple that we are actually causing more things to ourselves instead of giving solution to the problem that is already on ground.
All right.
Honestly, I don't think it's a we should do.
Okay.
The effect of that particular demolition is going to take even on the people that doesn't even understand whether the demolition is or not. Because when you talk about insecurity is actually done out of people who doesn't have any job to do. And if people's means of livelihood have been destroyed, some of them will request them to come. Some of them may not be patient enough to look for another job. The state government has come to speak and say that people should be patient.
Okay.
Only the kind of economic situation we are in Nigeria today. If it doesn't concern anybody, it doesn't. I'm feeling the same because now some of my the association where I belong to.
Yes.
You know, they are starting to soliciting for help. If you look at people that are actually assisting the association to go before, but financially they are soliciting for an assistance because their needs of life are caught on the strike. So what I'm saying is that if there's any other place they say, you know, in any local government, or even in the city center where they want to see reallocate people or how they to reallocate like the civil market, the regular market, they should use the proper message.
All right.
People already step by step, giving them direction so that agency should be clear.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Benedict. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And I'll let my guests, thank you. I will let my guests to lend their voices on this, but maybe just one minute because it's a very big issue.
Just keep on getting
yes, this is because this is one issue we might not come back for it. Prof, I don't know if you would want to say something about the demolitions because it is a big issue, the plight of the people. We're talking about insecurity. This is as a result of people not to having, being engaged.
Yeah. So, in fact, some of the people whose shops or houses or properties were demolished said that they have papers and they have papers to present. So if you have papers, I think it's a legal issue. The government should pay compensation. We know that the government owns land in this country. When they want to take it, adequate compensation will have to be paid to the people and some kind of discussion even before such demolition. According to JMDB, they had given the people adequate notice and tried to engage with them before the demolition and all that. But I think people like Barrister Zaruma should help out some of these people so that they can be adequately compensated.
Yes, unfortunately the government are not here to tell us their side. But if what the caller is saying is true, then frankly due process is not being followed. Because you cannot communicate a demolition notice through the market leaders or the market chairman. You don't do that. Or you communicate demolition notice through Miangwa. It doesn't work that way. That's the law did not recognize such procedure. You communicate a demolition notice directly to the person, telling him this is the reason why the demolition is going to be carried out, and then if he has any reason, then he will respond.
All right.
Yes, and in most cases, if they have been served with demolition notice, I encourage citizens not to take it lightly, because if you take it lightly, you will have yourself to be blamed.
All right.
And in fact, if they had rushed possibly to court, the court can issue an order for the government. Wait, these people have papers, so let's hear you and hear them. Why are you demolishing this thing before demolition?
All right.
So something is wrong somewhere. Until we hear the side of government, we will really understand what actually happened.
Thank you very much. All right, the guest in the studio, that is why it's good to have you all the time.
So they should seek legal advice.
Yes.
Let them engage legal experts, because it's possible they can seek redress in court even after the demolition.
Okay.
And compensation.
Because I find it very difficult to believe that when you have the appropriate papers, then your property will be demolished. It's extremely preposterous. So it's when you hear both sides, you will understand what is happening. If you have your papers, the government cannot just come and demolish. If the paper is genuine, if you have a paper that is genuine, I don't think government will just demolish. So
all right.
It's very good that the government should come and explain some of this.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Benedict, for helping us to look into this issue. Now, text message. This one says, good morning, DT, FM, Kobe, Prof. B, and Barrister Zaruma. Thank God it's a Friday. Zemberom is here again. Let's celebrate a nice peace. I am 100% support of state police for equipping interventions. It will help in tackling security challenge. Kudos to the 36 states speakers, Daniel Adam from Kabonsela Market. One man, one farm, one woman, two farm. Thank you very much. Yes, and this one says Scooby and Prof B and Z. Thank God for seeing another morning. It's not by our power, but the will of Allah and the quest of finding solutions to our problems and means of livelihood. May we not create more problems for ourselves. May God humble us to respond with goodness when we are not being treated the way we should. Hassan Garba, thank you, Hassan Garba.
This sender has really given us a name. Could be Prof B and Barrister Z.
No, Hassan Garba is just good at that. He takes on me every day, and I am just challenged to begin to do that too.
Thank you, Hassan Garba.
Yes, Hassan G. I call him HG too. All right, good morning, Kubi, and amiable, consistent, and passionate analyst, Professor Bameyi and Barrister Zaruma. Kudos to you in the studio for the wonderful and objective analysis. Honestly, considering how insecurity is going, the issue of state police is long overdue. At least it would bring about local responsiveness and strengthen security at the grassroots level where most of these attacks are carried out. Jamaat Karim, to my Muslim brothers and sisters, of peace is priceless. Let's live in peace. God bless Unity FM in Nigeria. Christy Izang from Bukubara, thank you. And another one says, Bulus Home Esther in Faringada, good morning, Kubi, Prof B, and the barrister in the studio. May Allah reward you for educating us and general public free of charge. Happy Jumat Mubarak to our Muslims faithful out there, and happy Sunday in advance. We pray for better Nigeria over our dream. Thank you, Esther. And maybe the last says, good morning, crew. We are not yet for state police. Okay, we are not yet for state police. Imagine state police with what is happening in Plateau State Assembly. Who will pay these salaries? Yusuf. All right, thank you, Yusuf. Well, that's your opinion, and thank you so much. Maybe yes. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, it's Abraham Douglas. I'm calling from TUNTBE.
Abraham, we thought we could just come and look for you after a while.
Yeah, thanks very much.
You're welcome. You have a minute.
Yeah, my concern is about the new buses provided by the state government.
Lovely. Go on.
Yeah, my concern here is that Nigerians, some of them are unnecessarily destructive.
Okay.
So, in the new buses, there are some installations like the air conditioners and other things. And then some people would deliberately want to get them destroyed without any reason. So I would suggest that in every bus, they should have 2 monitors.
Okay.
Employ 2 monitors.
Okay.
Who would always move around the bus to ensure that all the installations are intact.
All right.
And so because it...
Okay, thank you. All right, the network is not supporting. Mr. Douglas, we apologize. And on Facebook, this one is from Garba Nahali Kamber Kebi. Say, a holy good morning, Mr. Presenter. I'm grateful for you and watching you from Kamber Kebi just now. Thank you, Garba Nahali. Yes, and Dauda Elia Adamu is saying, okay, lovely. And this one is Aliyu Zakari Muhammad. Good morning, Unity FM speaker who supports state police, previously opposed local government autonomy. Greetings, independence to local government could reduce insecurity and engage vulnerable youth in preventing crime. However, the situation must be handled carefully. I think I love people's opinion, and that is why this platform is there. Yes, sir. Those are say good morning, Mr. Kobe, and good morning, Prof. P.H. Obama and the barrister. Honestly, you speak very well. Please keep talking and continue to give the federal government more advice, improve in security so that don't move in a single round circle, because all the insurgents groups are trying to so hard to advocate their activities daily. Thanks to you, Ismail Isa. Thank you, Ismail Zenza. Good morning, Unity FM. Wish you happy Friday. And it's from Maman Aliyu. Thank you. Favor Esther Bulus, good morning. Could be the professor and the barrister in the studio. May Allah reward you both for educating us and general public for free of charge. Happy Jumat Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and a happy Sunday in advance. God bless Unity FM, Plateau State, and Nigeria at large. And good morning, Unity FM. Watching you live from Kampala in Rukubaro. I thought is that Kampala, the other Kampala. And it's from Emmanuel Mweri Audu. I was like, wow. Of course, we'll be what? Of course, we'll be what in Uganda. I'm sure it's someone from there. All right, this one say good morning, gentlemen, in the studio, and Jumat Mubarak to all Muslim faithfuls. The state police may be the solutions to the issues of security in Nigeria. But the major concern is its abuse by politicians. If care is not taken, state police can become a weapon that the governors will use to go after opposition's members and any dissenting or voice, so that this is an issue that should be taken care of. Ahmad Tajuddin from Narakuta. I apologize, this is the much I can take on this. I'll just let barrister and professor to respond, and we call it a day, and even for this week. Yes.
This is most of the fears that callers express are genuine fears.
They are, actually.
Yes, because governors, please don't abuse state police in the event that bill scaled through. The recruitment process should be open, transparent, and make sure that it's based on merit, not based on political patronage. Secondly, I remember when states were requesting to establish state universities. One of the fear that NUC was having was funding. But today we are having a lot of viable state universities. So I believe where there is a will, there will surely be a way.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister. Prof, over to you.
Well, let me quickly use this opportunity to inform Nigerian students that the federal government has announced that the portal for the loan scheme, student loan scheme, will finally open on May 24th, 2024. May 24, 2024, students can apply for the student loan. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund said they have the money now, so May 24th, 2024, you can go online and apply for the student loan. So, well, let me encourage us, viewers and listeners. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Invest time to develop yourself. Visit friends, interact, say hello to your neighbor. One research found that human interaction helps us to live longer and happier lives on earth. But when you're just an island on your own, you don't interact with people, you don't mingle with people, you'll be shortening your lifespan on earth. So use this weekend, interact, visit somebody you've not visited in a long while, maybe make a new friend, and then use some time to work on yourself, on your goals, your objectives, your visions, your dreams for 2024. Things are hard and difficult in Nigeria, but please don't give up. Tough times don't last. It is tough people that do. So keep perspiring to acquire what you require in life. In case you don't acquire, don't retire. Keep refiring again and again. As long as you don't give up, you will get to that destination, because you're already on the way going there. As long as you don't give up, the obstacles, the hindrances will not be able to stop you. I wish you a wonderful and a beautiful weekend.
All right, thank you very much. At this point, I would love to say thank you, Barrister, for coming and always being in the studio, and also Professor for always being here. And by extension, I appreciate members of your families for letting you do this voluntarily. Thank you. And crew who made this possible, truly appreciate you. I'm talking about Engineer Habib Tijani, DJ Abbas, and our GSM Shamsuddin Kabir. And also want to say a very big good morning to Barrister Sam Talks, Barrister Munir Barao and Dr. Ismail Bello, and also Barrister Nduka, the youth leader of Igbo community at Bukuru, and again the legal advisor of the Igbo community here in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. And from me, Kubi, I will see you on Monday, God's willing. And I pray you have a wonderful weekend full of God's mercy. Bye-bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
The Financial Services Regulation